Hey there, Sank, everybody. Welcome back for another amazing episode of the MRHB Crypto Show. We've been away due to many reasons, but we're back and we're here with new and exciting information. So, without any further ado, I'm going to let Mufti Billal get started. And, Mufti Billal, what's the updates? What's going on? How's everything in your life?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yeah, I'm not too well at the moment because of COVID, but alhamdulillah, all good. I'm still standing, as you can see.
You'll always be standing, inshallah, and striving
Inshallah.
and running and everything. So, may Allah give you shifa and make it easy for you. So, I don't want to keep you much longer. I'm going to let you get started and just go into the topic so then, you don't waste much of your time.
Yes. So today I thought about talking of the STEPN project. I'm not sure if this is how you pronounce it, STEPN. But yeah, it's basically a move to an NFT game, and it's been coming on the news a lot lately for all kind of reasons, good or bad. But yeah, by walking and jogging and outdoors basically, provided that they are wearing some kind of NFT sneakers. So in essence, you are being paid to the gym, in essence, right?
Okay.
Which is quite a good cause, and I think this is what the aim of the project is, apparently, is to actually get people to have a better lifestyle, and also they're hoping that through this project people will be achieving carbon neutrality.
Okay.
So, like, for example, obviously, instead of using their cars, for example, to go to work, then you just go and walk. The incentive here is to actually earn more of the some of the, what do you call it, STEPN native token, which I will explain in a moment. Now, how it actually works is you'll probably get the details online, but to actually take part, as I said, you need to have the sneakers, right? The NFT sneakers. You can still jog and walk around apparently without them, but you won't be earning the reward, right? So in order for you to earn the reward, you must acquire the actual NFT sneakers first. And for you to do that, you will need the Solana's native token, which is Sol, SOL, and you will be able to buy the sneakers, and then eventually use it to do whatever activity. Now, I'm not going to go into all the details because it's not necessary for the thick analysis, but if you want more details, obviously you can just go online and you'll find it. However, one thing I will say is that excuse me, is that I think at the moment you can buy the NFT, what do you call it, the NFT sneakers, which is fine from the Shariah perspective, because you're using Sol token, which is perfectly halal, the token itself, so you can use that, and you are acquiring sneakers in the form of NFT, and I do not see I don't think there's going to be any issues with the NFT itself, unless, I don't know, maybe there might be some form of sneakers that is completely haram for XY reason, but in principle there shouldn't be any problem with an NFT sneaker. And obviously you're going to be using that for a purpose which is not impermissible either, like there's nothing wrong to to go for a walk or jog or something. They're not asking you to go and commit something haram, for example. There's no haram activities behind it. Maybe this is for now. In the future, I don't know. So whenever that happens, and we can talk about it. But as I was saying, at the moment you can buy the NFT sneakers, but there's also a potential for you to actually rent it. I don't know if that has started already, but from what I have gathered is that you will be able to go onto a platform, and instead of buying the sneakers, if you don't have enough of the fund, you can rent it from an owner. Sorry. And I think there might be a timeline. Maybe you might be able to rent it, like let's say for 24 hours, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and then you will be splitting your earnings. This is my understanding. Now, I don't know whether all the rental contract is going to be different or not, whether there's going to be different terms. But my understanding is that you will be splitting your earnings,
Mm-hmm.
right, with yourself, between yourself and the owner of the sneakers. So, like for example, instead of keeping 100% of all the reward that you would have gotten if you were owning the actual NFT sneakers yourself and do
Mm-hmm.
activity with it, you would just keep 70% and give 30% to the actual owner of the NFT. Now, from a Shariah perspective, there might be a questionable issue here. The
Mm-hmm.
questionable issue is that, okay, let me go back to, I will come back to that in a moment. So this is the second way of acquiring the NFT sneakers. So first one is you buy it. Second way is you rent it. And the third way, which they haven't started yet, is to acquire the NFT sneakers on credit.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't started that yet, so I cannot comment on that. Okay? Now, is that entire project, I mean, the idea, the concept of STEPN, is it Sharia compliant or not? My opinion is that yes, it is Sharia compliant to actually pay somebody to perform certain activity, provided obviously the activity is Sharia compliant in itself.
Mm-hmm.
The structure seems to be based on a Juala structure contract, whereby a person will reward you if you perform certain activity. So it's not in a Jara contract. You're not employing somebody,
Mm-hmm.
then you pay them a wage. You're not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
All you're doing is you're telling somebody, look, if you do this, I will give you a reward. If you don't do it, then you don't do it. There's nothing. You don't owe that person anything, and neither he owes you. Whether in an Ijara contract, this probably would have been different, because if you pay somebody to do something and he's not doing it, then he might be liable towards you. Or if in a Ijara contract, sometimes it's not necessarily based on an objective. Do you understand? So
Mm-hmm.
it's more based on your time, etc. So even if I pay you for 10 hours of work, and during that 10 hours nothing is really achieved, but you've been working for 10 hours, I still have to pay you for 10 hours of work. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
So this is completely different. Here it's, if you complete something, then I'll give you something as a reward. So this is what we call a Juala contract. And in the Juala contract, it's a bit more, how can I say that? It's a bit more relaxed
Mm-hmm.
compared to a normal Ijara contract. Okay, sometimes you might not necessarily, have a time to pay, a time frame, or sometimes the amount as well. It can be fixed on anything. You can say to somebody, look, if you do something, I'll give you a gift, and leave it as that. Whether in an Ijara contract, you actually need to fix the amount.
Like in the sense of percentages.
Certain percentage or the actual amount of money. Like I'll pay you like £2,000 a month if you work for me. You understand? Here in the Juala contract, we don't need, this is sorry. Here in the STEPN arrangement, we have a Juala contract, so that is fine. Paying somebody to do a certain activity, that is fine, provided the activity in itself is Sharia compliant, and the token that you're rewarding them is also Sharia compliant.
Mm-hmm.
Now, acquiring the NFT sneakers. Obviously, you can buy them. You're using Sharia compliant token to acquire them. Absolutely fine if you buy them. But the rental agreement might be questionable, according to some scholars. The reason why is because when you're renting something, this is not a Juhala contract now. You're renting the sneakers, you are entering into an ijara agreement.
Mm-hmm.
And in an ijara agreement, the amount of reward, the amount must be determined in advance. Here, what's being determined is the percentage. Again, the example I have seen is based on percentage. Like if I rent the sneakers of somebody, I will share, whatever earning I make, whatever reward I make, I'll keep 70%, for example, and give 30% to the owner.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know. The owner doesn't know how much 30% is going to be. You understand? It's only the percentage that it affects. This might be problematic according to some scholars. However, according to the late Hanafi scholars, fixing the term of an ijara, the reward of an ijara in percentage Y is also acceptable. But usulan, from an usul perspective, it shouldn't be acceptable. But the Hanafis, they said, look, because this sort of practice was widespread and there was a need for it to allow it, therefore they have allowed it. Okay, so they have allowed the ijara reward to be fixed in terms of percentages. So here again, there shouldn't be any issues with it. But according to other scholars, they might see it as questionable. Yeah.
Okay.
And again, the third one, the credit one, like I said, there's no information at the moment available about it, so I cannot talk about it. Now, on STEPN, the ecosystem, there are two tokens. One is GST, and the other one is GMT. So GST means Green Satoshi Token. So when you are performing these activities as jogging, walking, etc., you earn GST. Okay. Now, what do you do with the GST? You can use it to repair your sneakers, for example, or you can upgrade your sneakers. Or if I'm not wrong as well, you can. If I'm not wrong, yeah, you can also get your energy level back or something like that. Do you understand? Because your reward is based on these things. What type of sneakers do you have, etc. Are they strong? Blah blah blah. So obviously, I didn't talk about it because they're not really. How do you call it? They're not big issues from the fake perspective. But yes, you can actually use GST token for these sort of activity, which is fine. Okay. You can also buy and sell GST. You can trade the GST token. From a Shariah perspective, I don't see any issue with any of that. Using your GST token, to repair your sneakers, blah blah blah. Anything to do with the in-game, basically. As long as there's nothing non-Shariah compliant you're doing, no problem at all. You can buy the GST token. You can sell it. No problem at all, as long as you're fulfilling, the Shariah principle of trading. Of course, nothing to worry about. The second token, is the GMT token, which is Green Metaverse token. On the white paper, it is said that the GMT token is meant to be a governance token. Okay. However, it seems that the GMT token is used also in a similar way to the GST token, apparently. I haven't seen any issue with the GMT token as such. However, potentially the GMT token can earn you staking rewards. Okay. Now, the staking reward, how it is structured, I do not know, because on the white paper, he only says coming soon. So I haven't information about how the staking reward is structured, so I cannot comment on that. He also says that the GMT token holder will be entitled to the protocol revenue. Again, I do not know what is the structure of it, so I cannot comment on that either. I haven't found it. Okay. But in essence, if the GMT token is just a governance token and you're not taking part and you're not voting on anything that is non-Shariah compliant and you're using it in a Shariah compliant manner, there should not be any issue with it as well, just like the GST token. So this is my analysis of STEPN. However, I will say something that, like I said earlier, is that STEPN was in the news for the good and the bad reasons as well. And one of the bad reasons is that many people believe that this project is based on a Ponzi scheme. Okay?
Okay.
If that is the case, obviously that is going to be problematic. So do your own research. If this is the case, I have also read somewhere, but I actually lost the link, that somebody said, yes, it is a Ponzi scheme. And apparently they have admit, or somebody from STEPN has admit that it is built like a Ponzi scheme, but a Ponzi scheme that is not going to fail.
Interesting.
I don't know how true this information is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if this is a case, let's say for argument's sake that this is a case, that they believe that this scheme is not going to fail, is it Sharia compliant to take part in it? I'm not going to say it's haram, but I would not like to take part in something which is built on Ponzi scheme, even though that people know about it. I would not want to. I would not like. I would not feel comfortable with saying it's halal either.
Yeah, and I mean, like, there's this whole discussion about if Ponzi schemes, which types of Ponzi schemes and MLMs are permissible or not. So you have to get into the details of it, because there might be some MLMs which are like a proper method of operations, but then there's some that are just like, you can tell they're just here to kind of have money grabs and stuff like that. So yeah, fair enough. So you're saying as long as the token itself is used for the right, and you're in the game, and you're running and stuff, there shouldn't be no problem.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay.
Overall, it's fine. Yeah, but yeah, just be careful.
Okay, sounds good. I do see that Moby is in, so let me add him back into here so he can say his salams to you, and then, thank you so much for your time, Mufti, and I'll let you go. I know you're tired and busy and everything, so let's do that. Okay. Hey, Assalamu alaikum, Moby. How are you doing?
Welcome, salam. Good. You guys can hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Awesome.
How's your day?
Mufti Saab. It's been a long time. Alhamdulillah, very good.
Yeah.
We'll let the Mufti Saab jump off, but exciting stuff that STEPN, and I can't wait to hear back. I know they came out with a bit of a buzz, so it should be a good one.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much. Have an amazing day. Take care. Assalamu alaikum. And do keep us updated on your condition, please. Like, inshallah, may Allah give you shifa soon.
Ameen, inshallah. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Mr. Moby, what's going on? How's everything with you?
Good, alhamdulillah, man. It's been a long time between halal drinks, so it's good to be back. At the same time, it's actually kind of funny because it kind of played out like we said, so no real surprises. Like we were talking about, Ethereum crashing. We were talking about, if you remember, that we might only be 50% of the way through when Ethereum was 1,800. Bitcoin was a lot higher than it was then. So, to be honest, no surprises, but I think it's really important now more than ever is when you keep your finger on the pulse. Because everyone always says, they're like, oh, I can't wait to the bear market. I can't wait till Bitcoin is at $4,000. But when it's at $4,000, you're not going to want it. There's going to be so much FUD. Yeah. There's going to be, when Ethereum is 300 or 400, I'm not saying it's going to get there necessarily, but when it's at $500, you're not going to want it. You know what I mean? It's pure psychology. But what you have to remind yourself is you've been here before. We've all been here before, where we missed the bear market, we FOMO'd in, and and then we sort of regret it afterwards. So I would remind people, like I've done probably, till I'm blue in the face. This is when you stay ahead, even just a little bit. Keep your education a little bit, just so you know what's happening. And don't forget to DCA, even just a little bit, even if it pains you.
Before you give all the tricks away, I'm cutting you off there, Moby. Before you give all the tricks away, that's going to be part of something we're going to talk about after. So let's go into the market update, and then we'll go into the feature discussion. And that's literally what we're going to talk about, is how you can maybe benefit yourself from the crash. And obviously it's not financial advice, but it's something that, what I'm looking into, what you're looking into, and we can kind of give them a few non-financial advice-based tips.
Sure. Sounds good? I was just going to touch on that really. I'll just to preface it, to kind of set the context around how important it is now than ever that, what I'm about to say, you should pay attention to. All right. So I'm just going to share my screen, go back here. Yep. You guys can see my screen there. All right. So, if you kind of look at, if you zoom in, if you look at if you look at it the wrong way, you might sort of feel like, oh, you know, maybe we're out of the bear market, right? Bitcoin's back above 20 grand. We're at 21 grand, and Ethereum's back above $1,200. You know, and things are looking better than they were. But you know, if you sort of like look at, you know, Turtle 2 as well, I mean, sorry, not Turtle 2, Turtle Crypto Market Cap, this is a line we drew a long time ago, and it's interesting that we're still respecting this line. Like, we must have drew this like 2 months ago on the show, and we sort of bounced off this line, and now we're sort of back up, but we're a far cry from 1.8 trillion. Like, we're half. Like, the entire market is literally half right now. The thing that I want to remind everyone that bear markets have crashes. Like, bear markets have rallies, you know? So you look at the GFC, like during that decline, you had rallies of 24%, 19%, 12%, you know, and obviously crypto was here as well. .com rally 2020, 2019, 15. So you are going to have these 10%, 20%, 30% rallies, and they're the worst times to FOMO in. So I want to remind everyone that, you know, a decline isn't just like, even though sometimes it feels like it's a straight dive, that doesn't happen. It goes like this, right? So just because Bitcoin's back above 20 and Ethereum's back above 12, remember, it was sitting above 1800 for a really, really long time. So that doesn't mean what, you know, it doesn't actually mean a lot.
If you see stock market, like stock market doesn't have those big ups and downs. Even a few percentage ups and downs is there, you know, bear market and bull market type of stuff. So yeah, I mean, if you have experience from that, you'll understand that, listen, not always are you going to see big dips. Even within the bear market, you'll see a few ups and downs. Do not try to think that, oh, that's time it's going to boom up, but that's time it's going to crash.
100%. That's all sort of part of it. And so I mean, if I go back, because it's been a while since we've done a show, if we sort of just rewind a couple of weeks to see why we are at where we are at and why it may get further. You know, recently Celsius, right? So Celsius was Luna was the one sort of, you know, black swan event, and now we've got Celsius. So essentially what Celsius is a DeFi platform, right? So anyone can hop on and lend money and borrow money. And if they're interested in borrowing money, they have to like over collateralize, right? So, you know, Lido is very similar to this. So you might put in, you know, like 100 Ethereum to borrow, you know, 50% of the value in USDT. You know, you might do something like that. Now, the problem is that, you know, Celsius was actually using people's funds in an egregious manner. They were using them for margin calls. So they were using people's money for their own margin calls when they had to pay the back debts. And that's in part one of the things that caused the depeg from ETH and, you know, STETH. So I have STETH as well. I staked into the Lido contract to secure Ethereum 2.0. Now, the thing is, STETH, for every STETH you have, there is, you know, you can redeem that for ETH, but you can only do that until the unlock, until the merge. So even right now, STETH is trading at a 5 or 6% discount to Ethereum, where it's supposed to be a 1-to-1 peg. Now, this is the problem, right? What people do is they take their ETH and, you know, they deposit it and they get STETH in return. And I've got STETH in return, right? The problem is when you then take STETH and then you leverage that. So then you might take STETH and then you convert that to Ethereum and then you deposit that Ethereum again and then you get STETH back. And you're like, okay, cool. I'm going to just do this. I'm just going to keep doing this, you know, like, you know, 10 times or so. Because if you only have to collateralize 110%, for example, you can do this cycle 10 times or 11 times you can do this cycle. Now, you don't need to be a Shariah expert to know that religiously this doesn't feel right, or even an economic expert to be like, this doesn't sound right. You're just making money out of money. Yeah, you are making money out of money. And that's why, and it's a shame, obviously, you know, we couldn't overlap with the Mufti Sahal, but that's why these things are not halal, because they ruin markets, they destroy lives, they do these things, right? So, you know, a lot of that depegging has been because of this over leverage. So anyway, right now Celsius is not in a good way. Obviously on my screen you can see here, you know, BitBoy, you know, when BitBoy loses it. Like when that guy's angry, it's like you could like pop a pin and blow up that balloon. Like it's a sight to see, but rightly so. He's really, really upset. You know, like I think he's the first or second biggest media property, you know, or influence in crypto. And, you know, he's got this very, very public spate with Celsius, and he's not the only one. A lot of people do. Now, what's really, really interesting, and this happened during the GFC with the traditional system, is, you know, when organizations like this are behaving bad, that doesn't necessarily mean they're worth nothing, right? That doesn't mean maybe, yeah, you can clear out management, you can get rid of people, but there's still something there. There's still some commercial thing there. And that's when the snakes come in, right? So speaking of snakes, Goldman Sachs, right? So Goldman Sachs, there's talks that Goldman Sachs is likely going to raise $2 billion to acquire Celsius. Now, Goldman Sachs is not going to do that now. They're going to do that with pennies on the dollar, right? There's, and I'll keep, you know, you'll keep seeing this, you know, during my analysis, that there is still a very, very big chance of multiple liquidity events. So with Celsius, their liquidation price is if Bitcoin hits 14,000. That's not very far. 14,000 is not very, very far. Now, why would someone want that? Well, think of it this way. If you can crash Celsius and they don't care about losing people's money, because right now, you know, like the whole thing with BitBoy and a lot of people is they pause withdrawals. You can't get your money back. You can't get your collateral back because they're using it to pay back their loans, right? So Celsius is in legal trouble. It's in liquidity trouble right now. And now you've got these snakes or these eagles just circling, waiting for the body to die.
So they can pick it up.
To buy it pennies on the dollar, right? Yeah. So you can, I guess why I'm sharing this is because you can see like there are things to play out. It's naive to think, oh, cool, awesome. There's a little bounce. You know, I know a little bit of charting and, you know, I can see that, yeah, this makes sense. Well, it's a failed rally. It can be a bear trap, you know? Now, similarly, like, you know, speaking of different liquidity events, so Blockfi is also in a little bit of trouble. So Blockfi does very similar things. You can earn yield on your USD. You can do a whole bunch of stuff there. Now, we don't have a Fed. We don't have a bailout, you know, and that's one of the problems / interesting things of crypto, where we don't have someone to bail out. Actually, to be honest, bailing out is not good anyway, because it rewards bad plays anyway. But Sam Bankman-Fried, the head of FTX, he's kind of like acting like the Fed for crypto right now. So he's in talks to buy a part of BlockFi and extending a, you know, they previously extended $250 million rather to these guys. So what, you know, savvy investors are doing is they're realizing that they are linked to, it's very different to 2018. It's very, very different. There are a lot of big players that have a lot of money invested, and they have more than enough money to at least prop up the market a little bit. So, and this is in part, this is, you know, fairly new news. This article was yesterday, but this news has been around for a week. This is one of the reasons why we've had a little bit of a bounce. You know, this is one major reason why we had a bounce, because the market can see, oh, okay, there is a little bit of certainty. So something interesting to note there. Your thoughts on that, Ahmed, before I move off?
No, it's pretty interesting to see in an unregulated area someone's trying to play as, but you know, that's smart, because when you play as, you know, the big brother in an early stage, in the future, that's what gives you like longevity and power. You'll see in a lot of places where people who have helped the American government or who have bailed out certain banks, like BlackRock. Let's talk about BlackRock. Like whenever they've played as big brother and they've stepped in and they've helped, now they're the biggest name in all of asset management, about $10 trillion. So it's pretty interesting what FTX is trying to do.
That's when they collect. That's when they collect assets. That's when they get big. And you know what? We can do that. We can use the same strategy with far smaller wallets. We can do the same strategy. That's what I've been doing. I've been buying AVAX at $14, and now it's at 20. You know what I mean? You know, but we'll talk about that. Now, moving on, that's not the only liquidity event. We've also got 3 Arrows Capital. So for some of you guys who are, you know, savvy in following the news, you would have seen this as well. So you've got this whole thing happening with Celsius. You've got, you know, Blockfi, which is not in trouble, not like the other two, but it's still there. And then you've got 3 Arrows Capital. So 3 Arrows Capital is reportedly facing insolvency, and their bubble, you know, this article talks about the crypto bubble is going to burst. Now, why is this a problem for us? Because when you look at what they have, they've backed projects like Avalanche, which obviously
it's your top three.
I'm turning to Avalanche Maxi for good reason, right? Avalanche, Polkadot, you know, Ethereum, right?
Yeah.
So they're exposed to a lot here, right? So no, I think I had here I talk about like some of the projects that they're exposed to. So there's a lot of like micro projects as well. There's like Avalanche based crypto startups that they've invested in, but this is always a domino effect. So like say an Avalanche project fails, that's going to affect the Avalanche price as well. Obviously, we see this happen all the time. They've also funded Cardano's project Adana. Now that's going to also, that could also impact Cardano as well, which to be honest, I don't care. Everyone knows my views on Cardano. I sold when it was in the dollars because we could see what was happening with this project, right? So there's still things to like, I'm not trying to be a FUD master here, and we won't always get it right. We've been wrong in the past, but we were right about this because it's just common sense. You've got the Jerome Powell of US Fed, talking about like I think July 10. Halfway through July, there's going to be another interest rate rise too. Inflation, even if it goes down, a little bit, they are still going to like they've been very, very strict on this. He's met the US president as well, Biden, and they've publicly gone out and said, curbing inflation is our number one priority because the optics of it look good. Inflation's still going to go up. And we all know it's more than 8%. We all know that. We're feeling that already. But they can't just sort of reverse that ship. This has only just started, right? So that's something just to be mindful of. And we'll talk a little bit about more what you should do there as well. Now, when you look at Bitcoin as well, like another thing to be concerned about, or it's a positive / negative, and I'll sort of explain. In May, Bitcoin miners sold their entire harvest. Right? It's always funny thinking of harvesting Bitcoin, but that's what it is, right? They sold the entire harvest. So everything that they generated, they sold that to cover their operating costs because, the lower Bitcoin goes, the cost to produce a Bitcoin kind of levels out a little bit. And this is an average of an average. I know depending on the miner, the cost is going to be different, but they say that cost is around $6,000, $7,000 per Bitcoin. It costs them that much. That's how much it costs them. So we're coming very, very close to parity right now. And there's a little graph here as well that shows, like you see, Jan, Feb, March, April. So even in April, there wasn't that much concern, but in May, they sold, pretty much everything that they harvest. If you look at the average of the average, now, as the positive side of that, well, typically that's often a buy signal. So when, just before we have a pump, just before we have a big reversal, miners selling, people offloading, people getting liquidated. After that, there's nowhere else to go often than up. And then you have these people like Sam Bankman-Fried, CZ, Binance reportedly bought a whole bunch of Bitcoin as well. You have these whales that kind of swoop in. So just something to be mindful of.
But I'll be honest. I think looking at this month's May, June, and then July's operation, I think we're going to see a repeat of this a few times because you can tell that the market isn't, and due to all the markets, like until that little loop of hope doesn't come, these miners are going to keep selling to keep the production going. They're not going to just stop their production.
It's very fragile. Like we just spoke about 3 liquidity events, and we saw what happened when we had Luna, which was 1 liquidity event.
Yeah.
On top of that, you have everything else that's going on in the world that we've discussed: oil prices increasing, US prices, the US price of US dollar increasing, DYDX. So there's a lot there. There's nothing to be like,
So Moby, it seems like you're saying crypto right now is a sensitive teenager. You say anything to it and it starts throwing a tantrum.
Anything can trigger it. Absolutely, anything can trigger it. So, Ethereum. I was happy to see Ethereum back above 1,000 because anytime Ethereum's below $1,000, it's very, very scary. But Ethereum's not out of the woods yet either. So it's good to see that. I think I had this on the day chart before. Yeah, so it's good to see that we're back over $1,200. But Ethereum right now, where were we here? We're at $1,200, or what? $1,227. So Ethereum does really need to stay above 1,250. Like it needs to stay above and close before 1,250. One thing I will say that if Ethereum does manage, and it is very likely, we're going to have these staircases, these alligators. If we do hit for about $1,400, $1,500 is not a bad time to take profits. So even me, I've got my, like, the only Ethereum bag I have left is my long-term Ethereum bag. That's my long-term one. But even me, I'm thinking, you know what? You know, at $1,800, even though I was talking about it on this show, I didn't sell. And I don't regret it, because for me, that's a very long term. And I do think Ethereum will flip Bitcoin one day. Not in the, well, this cycle is kind of dead, but eventually it will. But even me, I'm thinking, you know what? It's not a bad idea. You know, like, if we do go down to $700, $500, it's not a bad point to just accumulate more Ethereum at the same, you know, for the same money, you know, that I essentially have. So that's one thing I'd say, you know, watch out for that $1,400 point. And we can talk about this too. We can talk about whether I was right or wrong, whether we do have a little bounce and then we have like a little bit of a sell-off, but I think that's likely. The other thing as well, being real, I mean, I'm a bit of an ETH maxi as well, but just to keep it really real, that there are, and this is not a surprise, you know, we spoke about this last time too, Ahmed, there's always a delay with Ethereum. Now, they haven't said that there's going to be a delay, but we've smelt this before. Right, so a bunch of developers are concerned about, you know, they're doing a whole bunch of stuff on testnets right now, and they did one recently, and the merge, according to the devs, the merge went poorly. You never want to see poorly when you talk about the merge, right? And 20% of the nodes dropped off. Now, reading into this a little bit more, what they're saying is like it's nothing to be concerned about. The drop-offs were based on, you know, certain nodes that were using certain software, and I'm summarizing a summary right now, but you know, just how they were configured, they need to fix that. Thing is, we are in a decentralized space, and it's very, very hard. Like, you know, think about community projects, Ahmed. How hard are community projects to rally people around when you don't have a structure, right? So, you know, Ethereum is like the ultimate community project. So it's it gives me concern. I don't discount what they're saying. I believe what they're saying is probably avoidable project, a scenario, but to get that many people aligned, you know, so just something to be mindful of. You know, Ethereum still has a little bit to go. So, you know, last time we said Ethereum is pretty much holding the market up. They can make or break the market right now. If they, and keep it, like, Bitcoin got smashed and smashed everyone else. The ST ETH peg depegged, that actually hit the market as well. That hit the entire market, and especially the layer one market as well. Ethereum is that big. So, you know, if we can pull this off, you know, it's going to be amazing. But, you know, don't hold your breath. One of the final things I want to talk about is NFTs. We haven't spoken about NFTs for a while, but
sometime,
you know, this is when, and I'm sure you'll talk about it in the MRHB update. But this is when projects build. This is when good projects build. This is when smart money builds, right? When they can get stuff cheap. So Ethereum's NFTs are definitely not dead. You know, eBay recently acquired NFT Marketplace known Origin for an undisclosed sum. I'm guessing it's undisclosed because, you know, it's probably a lot of money. Ethereum's got heavy pockets, and that's what these organizations do. And, you know, think about this too. And I linked this news to Ethereum because Ethereum makes up most of the value when it comes to NFTs, you know, followed maybe by a far second Solana, but Ethereum's where it's at. Now, no one in the comments come at me and talk about the fact that Snoop Dogg and Eminem is haram to listen to. I'm not bringing it up for that point. I'm bringing it up for the point to show that it is, you know, NFTs are still a currency of culture. You know, NFTs, it's not slowing down. And, you know, you may not like Snoop Dogg or Eminem, but these people have millions and millions of influence. You know, like these, you know, NBA recently, Top Shots hit another record as well. That they had a bit of a decline, and Top Shots NFTs are back up there as well. These brands and people have influence. So when you have two biggest stars in rap release a music video with Bored Apes, it's telling you, like, these guys have vested themselves. This is not a fad. If it was a fad, it would have been over 3 months ago. You know what I mean? Or 6 months ago. It's definitely not a fad. So yeah, you know, keep that in mind. And yeah, I recently bought an NFT as well, which if we get to, I'll talk about. But yeah, I'm not going to harp on that too much. Solana. So Solana is releasing a new phone called Saga.
This is very interesting.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on this, Ahmed?
Depending on what the phone has, I haven't had the chance to check it out fully, but I think they should stick to their gun. It's like when you hear stuff like Tesla's gonna start on its own phone, you're like, let's see, like, I mean,
so
it's not
let's
there.
talk about what is. well, let's talk about what it has, right? So, and then it's like, okay, so I'm like, all right, so what? Like, what's the point? So
Yeah.
it's very Web3 friendly. Obviously, it has a decentralized app store, so like you can get all these apps or dApps that are decentralized. It has a mobile wallet called Solana Pay. Solana Pay, I've spoken about Solana Pay in the past. Solana Pay is a great initiative, a great way to take payments, to take fiat payments as well. It's got Solana Pay as well, and what they call a seed vault, which will store all your phone's private keys. Now,
Mhm.
like you, Ahmed, I'm like, is it really worth getting a phone for that? Like, really? Like, Android's already pretty decentralized. You can get, like, honestly, I don't know if I want like a decentralized app store. Like
Yeah.
how decentralized is it? I actually
Yeah.
kind of like protections. Now, as much as Apple frustrates me, I know that the fact that most of the apps there are vetted and they have to, go through things and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm not really sure about that. Now,
Yeah.
the next thing. So I'm with you, Ahmed. I'm not really sure. Like, I'm not really that convinced. I'm actually thinking to maybe buy one. I can't get it in Australia because I think US, UK, is probably Canada. But I'm actually thinking to help, give some money to get someone to buy me one, just so when it comes out, I can sell it to the Solana fanboys for more money. To be honest with you,
I was just
but
thinking the same thing. I was just gonna tell you, don't worry, send. I can pre-order one for you, type of thing, if you want me to.
yeah,
Like, if it
100%.
comes,
Yeah.
if
Maybe I'll get you to
Canada
do
has
that for
some,
me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I got four brothers. If they do one per person, I'll get my brother to do one of them. But yeah, just honestly, I was just thinking either one, I can resell it, and then two, it's something you can have like a sense of if Solana tomorrow becomes a really successful project, which it looks like it will, and but the phone fails miserably. At least like 10 years down the line, you can say it's a collectible item. Like this is something that they've done. So it's like like now
100%. Yeah.
those old Nintendos are. So
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Now, I think the phone will be okay, like, because it's just a skin of an Android, right? Like,
uh-huh,
they're not doing
uh-huh.
their own thing. Even Nokia had like Android phones as well, like towards the end. Like the phone will be fine. Like, it's gonna work. You can just get a like standard tech and whatever and do things. But like, guys, think about this. Like, do you really want that? Like, phones can't be hacked. Phones get hacked all the time. There's a whole
Yeah.
scam that's happening in Australia. I'm sure it's happening overseas as well, is like people do virtual sims because you can get virtual sims. You can put a
Yeah,
virtual
yeah,
sim
yeah,
on.
yeah.
You don't even need a sim. You call up your provider. It is scary how minimal information they need about you, and they can virtual sim. But why do they do this? Because when you reset your password or you send an SMS, like those verifications, you often get SMSs. So if they
Mhm.
put a virtual sim on a computer, they can get SMSs to their computer and then take your whatever. So, do you really want everything in a phone? Like, I've got some keys that I've written on pieces of paper, and I've
Yeah.
stored them somewhere, and then I've got redundancies, and I've got whatever. So so I don't know. Like, if you hack your phone, you got your Bitcoin wallet, you got everything. I don't trust normal people. I don't trust myself. You really trust people with their life savings on their phone? I don't know. I'm skeptical. The other thing too that will kind of proves this is not the first time. So back in
Uh-huh.
2018, Siren Labs announced full spec for its Finny blockchain smartphone. So they were working on a blockchain phone called Finny and da da da. Now, have you ever heard of this phone?
No,
Like,
I
I've
haven't.
got no idea. Never heard of
Yeah.
this phone. Like, I've only found this because on Twitter, or on crypto Twitter, they're talking about like, guys, this happened before.
Yeah.
This is now Solana. Siren Labs is no Solana. Solana has a great organization. They're really good at what they do. It's still a marquee layer one blockchain. It's not like these little. I'm going to annoy people here, like these shitty ones like Radix and Heck, Hydrograph. I know you like that, but like they're T2s, man. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they don't have the sophistication and the money and the just like the kudos and the credibility that the tier ones have.
Hmm.
So Siren Labs is no Solana, but the thing has happened before, and it's not strong enough of a value proposition. Now, what was funny? This is always funny, right? What's his name? Charles Hoskinson. He made fun of it, right? He made fun of it. What did he say? He said like, um, uh, you know, all you need to do is find 7 of your friends over Discord to reboot it. because you know how Solana, like when it's gone down, you've had to like reboot the servers.
Yeah.
So he made fun of that. And man, you remember ages ago, like Ahmed, like last year when I first started getting uneasy about Cardano, one of the things was the leadership. And I was like, I don't know, man. I know this is a new era, and people aren't, like there is no normal way you're supposed to behave. Like leaders are just different. He just would slam people and trash people all the time. He would like use F words and whatever. And I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. Like you're a leader, like shows some character flaws there.
Yeah.
But like Charles needs to, like, they say, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. He shouldn't throw stones because the Vascal hard fork upgrade is also delayed.
How much more? How much more is this going to be delayed? I remember the last time this was delayed, it was a huge issue. Now again, nice.
Now late July. Like for me, the biggest red flag, and I'd already sold by this when Sunday Swap was released, and they had the whole UTXO, and I can't even. I'm not technical, but apparently, like the issue was you couldn't do more than one transaction at a time or something. And I thought to myself, how do you let something go so far? And I know it's not a Cardano thing; it's people developing on Cardano. But how do you let something go so far for that issue to come out? Like you've been saying, we're getting it done right. Like how much more time do you need? This is why people with smart money, big money, don't invest in Cardano. I'm not talking about BitBoy Crypto and those guys who are rich. I'm talking about institutions. So he needs to be careful. The final thing I'll sort of end this on is just a quick thing on Solana. So now this is this actually, when you look at it, this is bigger news and better news than a Solana phone. So they have these improvement proposals, ELI 5. They're rolling it out. One of the issues on Solana, one of the reasons why it goes down, there's multiple reasons, is bots, right? So they'll release an NFT project, and because the fees are so cheap, like you can just launch bots at it. You can just launch a bunch of bots at it, and it essentially crashes the transactions. Now, what they're doing now is like they're not increasing the fees, but they're making sort of like little silos. So one project can't take down the rest of the network. So they talk about this. It's a pretty good thread where it's like instead of having one light switch and everyone's trying to pay money to hit that light switch, you have multiple light switches, and like yes, in one project things might slow down and gas fees will be expensive or more expensive. It's not going to impact the rest of the chain, but more importantly, it won't take down the chain.
I think I'd read up on the technicals of this, like for my own thing, because I'm always interested on how the blockchain works technically, like with transactions, all forms of movements within it, and development on it. So I think I might read up on that. That's pretty interesting how they'll.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. We won't go into it now because of time, but it's definitely interesting. Like Anatoly shares, a deep dive and also like a high level as well. I think it's interesting.
Cool.
Now, more interesting phone as well. This is the final thing is Avalanche. So Avalanche released its core wallet and also a Bitcoin bridge. So Avalanche doesn't have a wallet like Solana does. There's a web wallet. There's a web-based wallet, and I've used the web wallet to stake Cardano, and I'm staking my Cardano for Cardano Avalanche. Sorry guys, Avalanche.
I was just about to say what?
Yeah, you're like, dude, like you've done a 180. Yeah. Too many chains. Yeah, so there's a web-based wallet for Avalanche, and I stake my Avalanche for 9.5%. I'm just leaving it there through the bear market. But now they actually will have a proper wallet. Now, I don't know if they have screenshots. I don't think they do. But when you look at it, it looks very, very similar to the Solana wallet. That's cool. That's fine. You know what I mean? It definitely looks better than MetaMask, and it's more user-friendly than MetaMask.
Yeah.
To even like if you get a coin sent on MetaMask, you have to then go to CoinGecko and then copy the address and the number, and then you have to add it. If you get an NFT, you can add it to your MetaMask technically, but you have to do the same thing. You have to go to the contract ID and copy and paste it. It's a real pain in the bum. Avalanche, you don't need to do that. It's a much, much, much more user-friendly. Like the Sahal wallet too, it's actually integrated with MoonPay. So you can buy, through that wallet, which is not common, which is actually a really good thing, which Sahal wallet has as well. And the Bitcoin bridge is really, really important. They wanted to wait until they get the Bitcoin bridge. Now, what's the Bitcoin bridge? It allows you to actually send your Bitcoin to this wallet. So you don't necessarily need a Trezor wallet or Trust Wallet, all those whatever types of wallets, or a paper wallet, you can actually do it on this. You can just send your Bitcoin to this via the Bitcoin bridge. Now, obviously, they're going to say it's pretty secure, but I watched their all access. They have a YouTube channel. The founder shares updates, and it sounded pretty, robust to me. And Avalanche has never really had an outage. It's never really been hacked. So they come with credibility. They also recently released their first. So JPEGs. JPEGs is based on what's that coin? The Trader Joe. Trader Joe, the exchange.
Yes,
the number one exchange, by the same people that if you recognize the icon, they released their own NFT store. Now, this is no Ethereum. This is no Solana. But at least it's there. Like, you see very small volumes, like 20, 18 AVAX in a day. Very, very small volumes right now. I actually FOMO'd into party animals, and I got a party animal, and I found a rare one, and I could probably sell it for profit now. But I thought, what, this is supposed to be the unofficial logo for AVAX, and if AVAX NFTs ever pop, then this, in theory, should be one of the OG NFTs that will pop. Because even Emin, the CEO or the founder of Avalanche, he's used this icon and whatever. So, like, there is a little bit of cultural currency in the AVAX community. And didn't cost me much. Cost me, like, I bought it when AVAX hit $14. So I bought it for like $20, $30, right? But that's essentially, and not advice, not giving any advice, just sharing what I'm doing and just really using it as an excuse to talk about AVAX. But that's essentially my market update, Mr. Ahmed.
Wow, that was a nice one. That was a long one. So you know what we'll do? Because I don't think bear market's going to go anywhere. So we'll keep that featured discussion for the next show on our tips.
Yeah, I think we touched on it. We touched on it. Definitely.
We touched on it. I had some exciting points. I think we'll keep it for the next one. But I'll just jump right into the Marhaba update. There's some, as you said, when the markets are down, we're very focused right now on production. We have teams working directly for developing the next two products, the liquidity harvester and the one after, and working on the current product, the Sahal wallet and Souk NFT. Pretty much majority of the features are in, but there's another set of features which are still to be developed, and they're working on it. And if you want to get the full update on that, you can watch the roadmap on this YouTube channel, on Twitter, or anywhere on our social medias, because we live streamed it everywhere, and you can watch the entire roadmap being explained by the CTO and the CEO, Nakib and Denise, and they go into details of every single thing. So there's that. And then while that's happening, we also have another team working on the UI UX of it, because we believe of not just bringing out another product. We want to bring out a product which is easy to understand, something that you want to use, and something that's going to help you be part of this crypto world even faster and better. So there's some really exciting UI UX stuff, which I'm happy to see, because now when you have the Sahal wallet, you'll feel comfortable with it, and you'll be like, look, this is the project I invested in, and you should check it out too, type of thing. Because when you see the features and you see everything, you're like, okay, this is like, it's comparative to any major wallet that's out there. But the difference here is that this wallet, everything on there is halal, and whatever you do on there, you're going to make passive income on there, which is also very exciting, because Miro is something that's being finalized and developed. That's going to help help you. Then we can stop asking which ways are halal for passive income. We just say, go on Sahal wallet, take your MRHB tokens and stake them, or take those tokens and just put them in there, and take those tokens, you can just put them in there, because that's the whole point, right? That's why we have a full back-end team that's research, math, and Sharia, which when you put them together, great projects and products come out. Okay, some other updates in the sense of what's going on like day to day, not like the higher picture. Okay, let me share my screen. Let me know when you can see my screen.
Perfect. We got it.
Okay, amazing. So I should be sharing this one first. Yeah, okay. So massive integration, it's done for Sahal wallet. It's just an Avalanche integration. This is how you know a project is going well, because we have great partnerships with Solana, with Avalanche. Next one, which is coming up, is Phantom. We're already on Ethereum, and we already have BSC, right, which is Binance BNB. So we're integrating all these different chains on the Sahal wallet,
Amazing.
so then you can buy and sell different tokens from those specific chains. And not only that, there's also going to be integrations of the Souk NFT. So you know how our friend here, Movi, was talking about those NFTs on Avalanche. You can buy those and you can have them in your Sahal wallet once the integration is done, and which is very exciting because then you can save all your stuff in there. Right now, my NFTs are on my Trust wallet, but as soon as the UI UX integrations and everything else is done, everything's gonna shift to Sahal wallet, and then even my Avalanche, because I'm gonna probably check out some Avalanche NFTs and Solana NFTs and just start seeing if that's something that I want to buy. So some exciting stuff. We're super stoked to announce the integration with Avalanche, and users now can safely store and buy and sell tokens on the MRHB wallet and Sahal wallet, which are all permissible. So Mufti Billal will go and check up all the ones which are permissible, and then we integrate them into the wallet, and you can buy, sell, make some money, and as how I like to say, make that mashallah money. So yeah, so that's that integration. And due to the integration, I'm going to be having this upcoming Monday at 2 p.m. GMT, and we're going to go into like discussions and details about what the Avalanche integration, what type of value does it bring, what can you do now, and there's other updates also, right? Because you can only talk so much about the Avalanche integration. Okay, other updates. I just wanted to go over the utility of the MRHB token once again, because I think a lot of people were asking about what utility will this have, will the token have, what does it have right now. So I think I just want to go over a few things. So MRHB token, the MRHB token, will power our Comdex and our Mirror, which is our passive income streams. And obviously, when people buy the token, when they want to make that passive income, they'll need to buy the token and then put it into Mirror or put it with the Comdex to make that passive income. There's a lot of payment transactions that are being done in Souk NFT. Souk NFT is growing really quickly, and there's some news I can't share, but there's some really exciting things that are going to be coming up in a few months for the Souk NFT, and that's for sure going to bring a lot of interest from the Persian, Middle East, and also I would say the Turkish, South Asian region towards the Souk NFT. So some exciting stuff that's being developed right now for the NFT Marketplace. The entire ecosystem is technically being powered by Sahal wallet, which is being powered by the MRHB token. We're gonna have few optimizers in the liquidity harvester. The token's gonna also power the cross-chain DEX aggregator that we're working on. The governance, obviously, we've talked about this. Yes, this is probably one of the ending productions that we're going to release is the oh my god, I'm losing my English. Philanthropy product that we're going to launch for zakat and stuff, and obviously that's going to be funded through MRHB and MRHB token, and then at the ending the launch pad. So there's a lot of things that are going to be coming with that token, and I think right now it's genuinely pennies to the dollar. Non-financial advice, check it out, see if you want to buy that token right now, because it's technically lower than round 2 of pre-public sale. And so people who are pre-public sale, they're holding their token, obviously. But right now is a good time to buy, if you personally ask me in regards to that. What else? What other updates I've talked about? Avalanche. Oh, yes, this is interesting. Moby knows our friend here. So Umut has recently been onboarded as CMO. So he's coming in to look at the strategy of marketing overall and taking products to the market. And this is required because we have many products that need to go to the market in the best way possible. So it's a big bang. So someone like Umar, who has that experience, he's launched 15 plus projects and he successfully launched them. He's held a portfolio which is more than $5 million in the crypto world. And so, the experience is what we needed. And now with that, we will be taking it, developing the strategies so they reach the most people in the best way possible. So really excited there.
I said $500. I think you meant $500 million.
No, I meant $5 million. I didn't say the million part.
$5 million. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you did, but just in case. Yeah. Just in case.
Yeah. I mean, anywho, he's worked on many projects, right? So that's some really exciting stuff. I'm excited because I get to work with him on a daily basis. There's a lot that I take in from him and learn from him, and push it towards our marketing strategy. Any last bit? Yes. So there's a referral program going on. If you want to make income or just make some referral or affiliate marketing income, just and you want your friends to check out the Sahal wallet, there's a small campaign we're running. We're trying to see how much interest are we getting from our referral program. There's a lot of, when we launched, there was a lot of initial interest that came in, and even right now, I haven't checked the numbers, but I think it's still, there's people referring their friends. If you want to refer your friends to the Sahal wallet, this is a good way that you can make some income and also get your friends onto a wallet that has all permissible based investment tools. So why not? That's about it from the high level, mid level, and also day to day things that are happening with Marhaba. And what we're working on. I mean, there's so much more we can talk about. Some operational changes that are being done, some new hires, changing of teams, processes being changed. But I mean, that's probably, you guys are not excited about that. What you're excited about is what's being deployed to the world to see. So yeah, there's a lot of fun things happening. Anything I missed from your side, Moby? By the way, Moby,
No, I think
it says at the bottom, it says your name is Ahmed. So I was like, I was honored.
Okay. Yeah. Well, there's no point changing it now. It's too late now. But yeah. Okay. I think I can change it now.
I think it'll change both of us.
Yeah.
But anywho,
probably no point.
Anywho, if you guys enjoyed the video, if you guys enjoyed, we're back. We're gonna be probably making this on a more structured way. We're gonna be releasing it on the weekends as we did before. Just been a lot of things going on in between where I was traveling, I had back pains and whatnot, and now we're back. So if you're liking it, do share this video with your friends. Do subscribe, share, like, all that fun stuff. You guys know it. And check us out on our other social medias and join our Telegram and join our Twitter to get all the updates before they come to the show. Any last little bit, Moby, before we say our goodbyes?
No, nicely said, man. Nicely said. It's a big show. The longer we take between shows, the longer they get when we come back. But yeah, stay tuned.
Sounds good. Amazing. Take care, everybody. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.